First of all, hello guys. My name is Tomek. On everyday basis, I work in Wrocław, and today I have the pleasure to give you an opening speech of this conference. And to be honest, when Sebastian called me and said, we're planning you to open the conference, I was like, you're joking, right? And then he said, no, we're serious. So yeah, so I'm very happy. Actually, it's a huge pleasure to be the first one. And first of all, I want to very much welcome you on the conference. 13th Testvares, third Testvares for me. 2 years ago, I was having just presentation. Last year, I was the last one. And this year, actually, I'm opening. So it's like a huge honor and a huge pleasure to be here and be able to talk to you. And as you've seen the previous slide, yep, I want to welcome you on my presentation, which today is the Super QA of the future. Sounds cool, right? And probably you clearly recognize what will be the main theme of our presentation. I believe everyone's seen Back to the Future. So we are doing almost exactly the same thing. So if you remember the movie Back to the Future, you probably know there was this story. They were traveling back in time, back and forward and so on. And do you remember which year, when they were going back to the future, do you remember which year they were going to? Yeah, 2015. And if you now look at this, it was 3 years ago already, and we don't have flying cars yet and so on. So their imagination of the future we have is a bit different than what we have right now. So some things actually turned out to be true, some things turned out to be false. But I want to do a very similar experiment for us today. I want us to have a quick travel to the future, I don't know, 5, 10, 20 years from now, and let's try to imagine what will be the QA role, a super QA role. What will be he doing, what will be his responsibilities, and so on. Because if you look at this, there are so many challenges that we are already facing. There are so many new things, new trends, new solutions that we are talking, these hot topics we are talking about right now, right? Because as I was going to some conferences lately, everyone is talking about this hot stuff, right? The AI, everyone is thinking about the AI, if it's going to take our jobs and if it's going to kill us, right? So AI, machine learning, then virtual reality, driverless cars, blockchain, robotics, IoT, robotic process automation, so on. There are so many hot topics right now that we are discussing on every keynote, on every conference. So should I talk about them in here? Of course I should, but I won't. Okay? So we're not going to talk about this, maybe a little bit. So I want us to start this travel. I want us to do it because there's quite a lot of stuff, right? We won't be talking about each of them because there's so many different things, different challenges, different things we need to prepare. We need to test those different solutions. That it will be used in our software and so on. So there's so many things in here, right? So let's try to go to the future and see what's there and see what a super QA needs to do so in the future he's still valuable. So if you're ready, let's do it and let's travel back to the future, right? So, welcome. We are in future. Thank you very much. It was very quick. All right. So let's see how the future looks like in here. Well, if you look at the movies, the future probably isn't very promising, right? Because in every movie it looks more or less like this. Right? Either we are fighting with the machines or machines are using us as batteries, like in Matrix or so on. So in general, the future isn't very positive. But to be honest, I wouldn't be so pessimistic. I think that in 10, 20, in this near future, in this 10, 20, 30 years, I believe we will still be here as human race, unless we, destroy our environment, which we are trying to achieve very rapidly. So if we don't do this, we are still here. I believe that we'll still be here as the human race. Plus, I think we don't have to worry, because according to Google, we won't be substituted by robots. Right? According to Google, there's only 4.2 chance that QA role will be automated. So looking at this, we can say, yeah, we're pretty safe. Right? We will be here as humans, and QAs will be still here and will be still working in IT, which is great. So AI will not take our jobs, which is a good news, or there's a huge probability that it won't take our jobs, right? And also, I wouldn't be that much afraid of the AI, because if you look at so Testvares party won't look like this in 2038. Because we will be still here, the QAs will be still here. And if you look at the state of the art right now in artificial intelligence, well, probably you've heard about this AI-based bot that was on Twitter. You've heard what it became? It was learning from other people, and it rapidly became, and very quickly became, ultra homophobic, xenophobic, racist guy. So I wouldn't be much afraid about AI itself. I'm much more worried about which is taking the knowledge from. So let's be careful. Right now, the AI can create mean comments in the internet, but rather it's not going to take our jobs yet. So that's actually fine. So if we are here, QA role is still here, we can meet our super QA. Because if they're still existing, let's meet our super QA from the future. And to simplify things, let's just call him Bob. OK, so we have Bob. Bob is a QA. Bob lives in 20, 30 something, let's say, and he's really good at his job. He's really a super QA. So let's try to talk with him and let's try to understand what's important in the future. What is he doing so he's successful? First of all, Bob will look more or less like this. If you expected someone to have bionic arms and so on, nah, not really. And why I say so, Bob will be pretty good looking, right? It's like more or less like Alvaro rather than Bob. Yeah, something like this. Why I'm thinking so? Because if you look at the trend in the IT, how we change our appearance during the years, well, the past was like this. Now we're in the present. This is me working on my presentation with my cat. So you can see there's like some slight progression. And I believe that, you all have friends that are doing Ironmans and having non-gluten-free diets. So we are going into direction that will be properly shaved, properly dressed, shaved maybe, yeah? So we are going into that direction. By the way, I always thought that jeans and t-shirts is a really good style until I met my girlfriend and I understand that no. And there's a difference between a beard and then between a crazy bush you have on your face, right? So, okay, but we are going in the right direction. So Bob is human, and he's even quite good-looking, properly dressed, and so on. OK, so let's discuss these challenges we've been talking. So the AI and stuff like this, if we look at the difference between us and Bob, well, I'm sure that will be one huge difference. Because when we talk about the AI, about machine learning, and so on, we are super excited, right? AI, oh, so crazy stuff, IoT, whoa, amazing stuff. And Bob will be much more like, yeah, AI, machine learning, dude, come on. Yeah, and then IoT, yeah, and blockchain, VR, He won't be excited at all. And I'm sure of that. And you know why? Because if you look at the buzzwords we had just a few years ago, right? There were some crazy things. We are so excited about some things happening in the IT industry. We were excited, and now, 5 years ago, when I moved to Wrocław and started my first job in Wrocław, I was working in one of the first big data projects in the bank I was working for. Big data, remember that? Remember that there was something like big data, Somewhere around Einstein times, there was big data. But now, we don't even call it big. We get used to it. There's just data. There's data everywhere. We are using this. We are processing data. We are running algorithms or data. We are testing big data algorithms. We are using big data tools for development and for testing, and it's just a part of a standard. It's not exciting anymore. We forgot that it's big. And another, I remember, super hot topic. We go a bit back, so my studies like 8-10 years ago, more or less that time. There was another super hot topic. You remember grid computing? Grid computing was so hot at the time, I've put it in my CV, in the hobbies part. In your CV, in your hobbies part, you always put 3 things. One that is true, one that makes you cool, and one that makes you look like passionate about the technology, right? So I said, I like Terry Pratchett's book, which was true, then something that I look cool, it was like, I enjoy sports. And then the last thing, grid computing, to show that I'm passionate about technology. And grid computing right now, come on, who remembers grid computing? Putting many computers into one big network and running computation? It's called a cloud. We are using this all the time, and it's nothing special. So all the buzzwords we had are not hot anymore. And this is the truth from the future. These tools are nothing more than tools. We will get used to AI. We will get used to machine learning. We will get used to IoT, everything there is right now. I was working in the big data project, and I was testing big data algorithms. I wasn't doing anything revolutionary. We were using tools we had. We were creating tools that were needed because there was nothing on the market really useful, and we got used to it. Now this is nothing new. And the same will happen with the AI, machine learning, and so on. We'll be getting used to it. Okay, but innovation, right? And I can say these things are innovative, AI, machine learning, but I think we are already doing a lot of innovation right now, because AI is not happening somewhere in mystery world or something like this. We are working on projects that have AI, have machine learning, and so on. If you look probably at your companies, you're also doing innovative work. I can tell you about my company. We are doing, for example, such grids with bots in our warehouses. And these bots are autonomous. They don't have control to tell them what they go. They talk to each other to find the best route, and they don't need any control from the outside. It is pretty innovative. And I talked with people who are testing this to prepare this presentation, and they are not doing any revolutionary work. I was testing big data, nothing revolutionary. I talked with people who are doing machine learning and AI, nothing revolutionary. Why? Because quality evolves, but there's this core that is not changing. I would say there's a core of testing that will evolve, but it will never change. And for me, in this core, there are three essential things in testing. First of them is to understand what quality is. First, you need to understand what quality is, and this is difficult, because if you think that you define what quality is, you're wrong. It's our customers, it's the clients who defines what right quality is. And understanding this will be harder and harder. This is what will be getting more and more complex. Because in the era of customization, high quality will be very different for everyone using the same application. Potentially, we will have different way of showing with different content served to different users, and we will have to be ready for that, to understand what the quality is for all of them. Then when you understand quality, the second core thing from this three is to prepare the right data. If you want to test anything, you need to set up a context. You need to have data to run this test. And this is getting more and more complex all the time. Because our software, the problems we are solving, the applications we are building are getting more and more complex. So it's more and more hard to prepare the right data, to prepare the right setup. When I talk with people who are testing 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and now, this is what they spend a lot of time on, to prepare the right data, because the input is getting less and less clear. You have more and more dependencies, more and more complexity, so this is getting really harder. And the third thing is to evaluate the results. And if you want to prepare for the future, there's one clear thing. There won't be right single answer. There won't be right or wrong. There won't be green and red anymore. You will have some quality with some probability for these users, for that user. The input and the output will be getting more and more complex, more and more uncertain. And not the tools, but this complexity, this is something we have to prepare. And the rest, if you have this concept core, if you have this well understood, you know it very well, then this is great. And the rest is actually just a matter of skills, nothing more. And if we are talking about skills, I think everyone can use this kind of an exercise and try to build for yourself, first the Avengers, right? Because I wanted to say that, you want to be a super QA. Then if you want to be super QA, you need to have superpowers, just like Avengers, right? So they are cool. Each of them has really great superpower. And I don't know if any of you tried to be a superhero. Have you? Probably in the childhood, you tried to be a superhero. And you know that this is difficult. It's not like in the movies. In real life, it looks much more complex. It's not that easy to be a superhero. And now if you think you want to have like all the superpowers right now, it's hard to have one. But if you try to, have all the superpowers, if you would try to put all Avengers into one to get this super uber mega hero, which has all powers, you won't succeed because you will achieve something more like this. And it will suck because you cannot be good at everything. You cannot be good at everything. And if you have this skill matrix, I wanted to say, this is an interesting exercise. You can build something like a skill matrix for yourself where you put the areas, different areas in terms of quality that you can build your skills in. So you can have, you know, UI testing, performance, security, coding, so on. And what I want to say, coding is just one of the competences, one of the skills. You can be a very successful QA without coding. However, as we all need coding in the world right now, it will be also hard without that. So it's good to have it always. But guys, if you, for example, start to give yourself, assess your skills, so you can say, okay, in UI, I just have like 1 out of 6 or something like this. Performance, yeah, security, coding good, and so on, so on. You can build your kind of a profile, right? And now, in management, in leadership, when we are talking about development skills, people development, and so on, the very trendy word is the T-shaped person. And this is something which you can try to achieve. T-shaped, meaning, because if you look at the skills, it looks more or less like T, right? So the idea is that if you want to be successful in your work and so on, you should have this one very strong leg where you are really an expert in, and you know all the different stuff on basic level. So you have your area of expertise, but you still know some basics in everything else. And this is what you can do, right? If you're planning to go into more DevOps area, well, yeah, you can have coding, CI/CD, OS, operating systems, bash scripting. You can have this like a bit more developed, higher skills in there, higher expertise than in other ones. But what I want to say in here is that this is T-shaped, and there's like a trend to have T-shaped. There is pie-shaped, like with 2 strong areas of expertise. But you can be, for me, you can be whatever shaped. What I want you to remember is that the number of points you have to give yourself is limited. You won't be good at everything. You cannot be an expert in everything. You can have 1 strong area of expertise, maybe 2, maybe 3, but you will never cover anything. It's just impossible. So what it means, if we cannot cover everything, but quality consists all of these things we mentioned, and probably many more. Quality has many different aspects inside, right? If you cannot cover them alone, then you probably need to go back to the good old-fashioned collaboration. And this is it. This is what we'll have to prepare for. Working together cross-functionally, even in the QA roles. Because quality is so complex that we cannot achieve them on our own. We cannot guarantee quality on our own. So we need these different areas of expertise. We need to work together. So becoming super QA of the future is rather impossible. We can rather think about ourselves as part of super QA teams of the future. So the thing is that I want to send you here as a message from the future, is that quality itself, it will be getting more and more complex. The data will be getting more complex. What is right, what is wrong, what quality is, this will be getting more and more complex all the time. And this is something we need to be prepared for. And next part I wanted to discuss with you. Guys, if I have wide QA community in here, and I actually feel I've never been a tester. That's funny, and I'm opening a testing conference. That's I hope. Okay, so, you know, Okay, but if I'm talking to wide testing community, I have to discuss with you one thing that personally me, as I feel part of testing community, bothers me a little bit. Well, I'm stating that quality is not simple. Raise your hand if you agree with that, right? Quality is not simple. Most of hands are up, yeah? Quality is not simple. You have plenty of proofs for that. Because usually when you look at the projects, everyone is, you know, before the release, everyone is super happy, and then 5 minutes after release is like, whoa, shit. We didn't think about that. Man. So quality is important, and quality is difficult. There's always a situation, we haven't tested that, we haven't thought about this, and so on. So we all agree that quality is not simple, right? 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 And that's the problem. Then start saying so. Start saying so. Start saying that quality is not simple. Start sending this message. Because, when I'm looking at some articles I see in the internet, I read about, the IT and so on, and especially finding a job in IT, I've got a feeling, reading all these articles, that, if you are in a very sad moment of your life, you are like this, yeah? It's like, oh, what should I do with my life? There's a simple answer. Become a tester. It's super easy. Everyone can become a tester. And now, just in 2 weeks.
2 weeks for programmer, 1 week for tester.
Yeah, 1 week for tester. Lucian is giving you even better stuff, yeah? So, if you're saying that quality is not simple, then how come? I'm talking with people at conferences. Usually at conferences, there are some people who are trying to change the industry, go to the IT, and they're asking questions, yeah, I want to become a tester. What should I do? And I always ask, okay, but why you want to be a tester? Well, the job is interesting, so on. Well, why you want to be a tester? Because it's a well-paid job and you don't have to do anything. Like, I say, no, it's not true. And you know what? If you want to have a good money after 2 weeks course, you should do a forklift driving license. There's a huge demand for such employees. Across Europe, you can work everywhere. And don't get me wrong, I have nothing against people who are changing industry. My friends are doing so. Actually, I think all of you somehow had to change industry to become software tester. Because you haven't studied software testing, right? Because there are no such studies at all. So you have to change the industry. So I don't have anything against this. I don't have anything against courses that are helping people to change industry. My friend in Wrocław has a school for people who want to become developers. And that's absolutely fine. The thing is that you have to be very careful as the community what kind of message you send outside. Because if you're not saying that quality is important, that quality is difficult, that you have some unique, essential skills, unique experience that brings value to the project, then who will? We are in as quality people, we are in a very difficult situation because the results of our good work are not visible. When developers do good work, they create a product that you can click, you can do anything. When we, as quality people, do a good work, nothing happens. So it's hard to build a good message. About QAs, you usually remember the funny sad stories, like there was a failure in performers or something like this. Or I was talking with my friend lately, and he said that he has a funny story with QA involved. And he said that they hired new QA, and one of the first bugs she reported was that Alt F4 closes the application. I was like, damn. I'm using a MacBook. It works on my machine. So, this is important. Quality is important, and quality is not simple. Then you need to start saying so. You need to treat this. The question is to you, actually. How do you treat quality? How you treat what you do? Is it just a job for you that allows you to bring money home? Or this is your kind of a profession? So quality is your profession. You treat it seriously. Because if you do, you should be sending this message that quality is important and quality is difficult, and you, as QAs, have unique skills and unique knowledge and unique experience. So if this is a profession for you, my message is, be proud of your profession. Don't say it's simple. Don't say everyone can be a QA. Everyone can be the president of Poland. But the chances are, like so-so. You need work, and the 2 weeks course is great for start, but you need to put a lot of work and a lot of energy to become a successful QA that brings value. And you need to stick to this message. You need to build this positive marketing. You need to build awareness about how important quality is and how unique skills you have. Because otherwise, no one will. So this is the message. And next, I started to think lately at the beginning of this year, okay, what does QA do? Because I have to share a kind of a sad story with you. A friend of mine who is a QA, she wanted to be promoted for a senior QA position. And unfortunately, she got rejected. Why? The thing was that she had not enough skill, according to the feedback. The problem was that people who were giving her the feedback was her team. And the team was developers only. So what they assessed her coding. And I said, okay, you're great, you're doing an amazing job everywhere else, but your coding is not enough. So we don't approve. And I thought, why? There's so much more than coding in quality. And the thing was that, okay, there should be, but what actually is? What is this? I'm talking, be proud of your unique skills. Be proud of your unique experience, but what it is, what are these skills? And I started to do some reading, right? And I found one interesting, let's say, a list. It was called the Modern Testing Principles. It was on the Ministry of Testing, which requirements, what should QA do? And it was really good. I agree with all the points, but they were like, ask questions. Well, everyone should ask questions. Work closely with the business. Everyone should be working closely with the business. What is this unique skills? And I started to think about it. If you look at developers, they are able to do really good PR around themselves. Sometimes even too good, right? Because sometimes they think if they are a software developer, then you're something like close to a god. But they're being proud of what they do. And they have something which is called the software craftsmanship, right? They have it. There are books about software craftsmanship. There are conferences about software craftsmanship. If you ask any developer, what is your craft? What is your craftsmanship? They will say, oh, we have clean code, and in clean code we have that many principles. We have design patterns, and these are the design patterns. These are integration patterns. We can name them. And if I ask QAs, the answer is not simple. And I did a discussion panel on Tshaped 2 weeks ago, and I asked this question to a wider community, and there was no simple answer. What are your unique skills? And I thought, okay, if software developers have their software craftsmanship, maybe as QAs we should think about our quality craftsmanship. What are these unique skills? What are these unique technical skills that we have, that are unique about us, that are bringing value to the projects, and we know them. We are proud we know them, and everyone else are not that good in this area. And when we have this, then we can name this stuff, we can name these tools and actually be proud. And when we'll have this discussion about what you do as a QA, do we really need you? I've heard that in the UK government, they are going to fire all the QAs because they think they are not needed anymore. Because why? We should be able to prove, we should be able to say, this is the unique skills, these are the tools we are using, these are the things we do, they are unique, they are important. And this is the message. So try to think from a moment about yourself as a quality craftsman, that what you do is not only your job, but this is your profession, this is your craft, and you need to develop your skills and try to name these things that you can do that are unique and you can be proud of, and show this to other people and say, I'm a QA, this is what I do, this is unique, important, and valuable. And next thing, last thing I want to discuss is first philosophical question. Guys, why are we here? There's a question of the universe, right? Why are we here? Okay, so let's make it a little bit simpler. It's like, why are you here? Why are you here today? Why are you here? Why are you here on this conference? And what I hear very often is like, okay, I'm here on the conference because I want to learn, I want to hear about all this new, cool, shiny stuff. I want to hear about solutions that I can take back to my project and they will solve all my problems. Saying you this straight away, there is no such solution, you won't get it here. I'm sorry to the organizers if you put this in your marketing materials. Sorry. But no, you won't get a solution to all your problems in here. Sorry. You can get inspired, you can learn, but then you can try this in your work, in your everyday work, right? But the problem is, when I talk with people after conferences, they say, yeah, these all are cool things, but there's always someone bad. There's this bad, I don't know, the manager, my company is bad. They don't let me try these things. They doesn't let me grow. They don't let me grow, the manager's company, because we have, these policies, processes, they don't allow me to grow. And you know what my question is? My question is very simple. Who's in charge? Who's in charge of your career? Is it you, or is it the company you work for? Are you growing? Are you developing your skills only how your company allows you to grow? More expertise in one place means more attachment. If you grow only as your company allows you to grow, guys, you will be perfect employee for that company, but it will be harder to you to change it to anything else. And you know, you are here on the conference, right? So please raise your hand if your company is hiring right now. See? This is the biggest value of the conference. Look at the people around you. Everyone is hiring. There is huge demand. So if your company doesn't let you grow, they don't let you grow your skills, develop your skills, then talk with people around you. Talk with people around you. See what other people are doing in other companies, in different projects, how they work, because maybe you can find a better place for you. Don't believe what companies are writing on their websites. Don't believe, don't listen to these crazy things that recruiters say to you. They will tell you everything just to get you hired. And now the funny thing is, you know, that my girlfriend is a recruiter. And I will get my butt kicked. No, but seriously, she agrees. Very often recruiters just tell you anything, but to invest in relationships. Invest in relationships with recruiters as well, because they know market very well, they know projects. And talk to each other and get the direct information. How is this company doing? How the project works? What they are doing? What are the opportunities for you to grow? And don't be afraid to change stuff. Don't be afraid to go to different place and grow, because you should be in charge of your career. And conferences like this are the best place to actually talk with other people and learn from them what you can find elsewhere. So guys, if you are waiting for these great opportunities and you're hoping that it will come, this is the place where you will end up. The waiting lands. The opportunities don't come. You have to be proactively looking for them. And again, this conference is a great place to do so, to talk with people and to find places that can make you grow in your career, in your craft, in your skills. Don't end up there. So the message in here is simply own your career. And this was actually the last message I had. So let's a bit go back to the present. Let's go back to the present and have some final thoughts. Let's try to wrap it up. And when I was thinking about all the things I was saying, to wrap it up, well, I can put it into one sentence. And okay, you don't need to get a tattoo like this, but in general, if you treat this quality seriously, if you treat this as your profession, you have this quality at heart, you will become the super QA of the future. The tools will be there, you will learn them. You will have your area of expertise, and you will be ready to do it. You'll be ready to go into the future, and you will be, a valuable employee. You won't have to be worried about your career, because demand for quality will be there all the time. It will be growing. But the thing is that you need to treat this quality seriously. You need to be proud that you are a QA. You need to be proud that you have some unique essential skills, that you bring value, that because of you, the projects are successful. Be ready to send this message. Be proud of your craft. Be proud of your tools. Be proud of what you can do and grow in this area. And own your career. And if all the things we've been discussing, if you put that into one, it's simple. Treat this quality seriously. Treat what you do seriously. You say that it's not simple, you say that it's important, treat it like that. Because it is important. This is valuable, this is important. And and I really hope that, today we are able to chat, we are able to communicate, we are able to exchange ideas and so on, to grow in our craft, to grow in our professions. And I hope that if we'll meet on Testvares 2038, it won't be a bender party. And when we will meet in 20 years in here, we can, sit down together and be laughing that, oh, AI was such a buzzword. No way. It's so old right now. So we will have new things that we are excited about. We will be laughing from the things that we are excited about right now, because these things will come and go. There will be more complexity, which we have to be ready for. And we do this. If we are prepared for this complexity, we care about this core, we care about quality, we care about our profession, and we want to grow, we will still be successful QAs, the super QAs of the future, and we'll be really happy. So I really wish you to use these 2 days, today and tomorrow, to actually use this chance, talk to each other, see some good presentations, listen to some good ideas, try to implement them, but first of all, get closer together as a community, because as I said, you need to be proud of quality, because I have this feeling that quality is somehow underestimated. I'm sorry, but it looks like that. When talking to developers and so on, people are underestimating quality. They're underestimating QAs. So you need to send this message. You need to be proud of it, of your profession, of your craft, and send this positive marketing, because this is important and it is difficult. We have something to be proud of, and we don't have to, you know, like, be ashamed of to talk about it. We should be talking about it a lot. So I wish you a very fruitful 2 days in here in Zakopane. I want to welcome you once again on this conference, and have an awesome, awesome 2 days. Thank you very much.
All right, so we already have one question from the Slido. So the question is, so if things will grow in complexity and we'll have T-shaped people who are specialists in one area, does it mean teams will grow in size?
Good question. I don't think the teams will grow in size rapidly, because it's really proven that the number of people in the team, if it's growing too much, is really much decreasing the efficiency and performance. So the teams won't grow. I believe this will be, we'll have to also, in like, for example, quality, we will have a defined set of areas, which also we'll have to limit, and have the people responsible for some area and having basic knowledge in the rest of them. But in general, this will be getting also more complex for us. The more things we'll be adding, I don't think we'll be adding people to the teams. I think we'll be adding more stuff to what is expected from us. So if you want to be an expert in only this area and know basics in everything, probably this basic will grow. I remember when I was a software developer, well, we started to use scripting, and we started to use CI/CD, and no one was asking, okay, do you want to learn this or not? It was just like necessary to have this basic knowledge everywhere else. So I don't think the number of people will grow, but we'll have to define the areas very well, and we'll have to, you know, be ready for learning more basics and have a solid, strong area of expertise.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions from the audience? Raise your hand. Okay. No more questions?
I'll be here around, so if anyone wants to ask any question, have a chat, feel free.
Okay.
Yep.
Ovation, please.
Thank you very much.